Hello and welcome to AC 24/7. I'm Stephen Walker. Breaking news in Colorado Springs, Colorado, where police are investigating a deadly attack on an LGBTQ plus club. At least 5 people are dead and 18 others injured after a 22-year-old man entered Club Q and began shooting. We're learning that some heroic patrons inside the club confronted him and stopped further bloodshed. The weapons used in the attack include a long rifle and 2 handguns. The gunman is identified as 22-year-old Anderson Lee Aldrich. Colorado Springs police have not yet released a motive, but the suspect is in custody.
We are actively processing the scene at Club Q. Initial evidence and interviews indicate that the suspect entered Club Q and immediately began shooting at people inside as he moved further into the club. While the suspect was inside of the club, at least 2 heroic people inside the club confronted and fought with the suspect and were able to stop the suspect from continuing to kill and harm others. We owe them a great debt of thanks.
Investigators are still trying to determine if this should be prosecuted as a hate crime. Club Q released a statement on Facebook saying it was devastated by the senseless attack on our community and thanked the quick reaction of heroic customers that subdued the gunman and ended this hate attack. Club Q opened in 2002 and until recently was the only LGBTQ plus club in the city. The club had planned to hold a drag brunch and drag show on Sunday for Transgender Day of Remembrance. The club's website says it will be closed until further notice. Colorado Governor Jared Polis issued a statement Sunday calling the attack horrific, sickening, and devastating. Polis is the nation's first openly gay governor. He offered state resources and local law enforcement, saying that we are eternally grateful for the brave individuals who blocked the gunman, likely saving lives in the process, and for the first responders who responded swiftly to this horrific shooting. He said Colorado stands with our LGBTQ community and everyone impacted by this tragedy as we mourn together. Colorado's 2 senators also offered condolences, saying more should be done. President Biden also issued a statement saying he was praying for the victims and their families. He said, quote, President Biden also issued a statement saying he was praying for the victims and their families. He said, quote, while no motive in the attack is yet clear, we know that the LGBTQI plus community has been subject to horrific hate violence in recent years. Gun violence continues to have a devastating and particular impact on the LGBTQI community across our nation, and threats of violence are increasing. The shooting is bringing back painful memories of the attack on the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida. Joining me now is the Advocate Channel's national reporter, Christopher Wiggins, and Advocate Today's host, Tracy E. Gilchrist. Thank you for joining us. So, first up, what do we know about Club Q and its part in the LGBTQ community?
Well, so we know that Club Q is very popular in Colorado Springs. As you said earlier, it's the only LGBTQ venue that was available to the community until recently. The club actually was hosting or regularly hosts a drag show on Saturday nights and regularly does drag brunch on Sundays. And it would appear, although the motive remains unclear, that may have been kind of what was at fault here for this person's rage.
So we're speculating, but they could have been just trying to prevent the Transgender Remembrance Day celebrations, or that's
what it seems like. There's been a lot of attacks on the LGBTQ community and the trans community in particular, especially, and there's been a lot of conflation with drag performance. And so, unfortunately, it seems as though, it wouldn't take much of a leap to assume that if it does turn out that this is a hate-motivated crime, that those elements will have contributed to it.
I know it's hard to think that the upward visibility of our community is actually making us targets. It's a hard thing to balance. Tracy, you were working within this industry when Pulse nightclub was hit. Is it bringing back memories for you?
Yeah, I have to say that it's upsets me to say this, but we have worked through so many tragedies here at the Advocate and out, and these iconic LGBTQ plus brands. We've worked through many, many tragedies. Pulse was an 11-hour day in the office. Um, I hate to say it, I feel a little numb at this point. It's so commonplace in this country for hate crimes to happen, for gun violence to occur. And, I'm also kind of tired of these ideas of, well, what is the motive? I feel like the motive is almost always hate. It just kind of blows my mind that we, ponder what's the motive? It's almost always homophobia, transphobia, misogyny, racism. It's almost always that. So I think I've just, as a news person, I'm supposed to be, neutral, but as a queer woman, I am really just feeling like these conversations are happening over and over again. And yet here we have in Colorado, the good people of Colorado just voted in Lauren Boebert again, someone who is a perpetuator of just the most disgusting kind of hate. So I'm not blaming the state of Colorado, but we live in this country where people are electing officials who peddle hate. And it feels a little helpless because I'm not in your position. I feel like I can be a little more honest in my feelings. I feel a little helpless at the moment. And I think that's what it's bringing back for me, having worked on Pulse that day.
I feel that, we know they're hate crimes. I think what hits me is the fact this is down to gun policy. Why is it still so easy for a 22-year-old man? I say man, at 22-year-old, you're still a child and you're able to get your hands on a gun. It just makes no sense.
No, I mean, we need to change the gun policies in this country. We need to stop peddling in hate. We need to stop electing people who get on a podium and espouse hate against LGBTQ plus people, against women, against BIPOC people, against Jewish people, against Islamic people. We have to stop electing these people. It's just building and building and building, and it's a really tough time.
And you mentioned that
And if I can add,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, if I can just add, it seems to me as though we also need to be calling this out every time we see someone uh, engage in uh, transphobia, homophobia, misogyny. We really need to call these things out, and especially because a lot of this is festering online. And there are accounts online like Libs of TikTok and Gays Against Groomers who basically exist to foment this kind of hatred and to, create situations. It's called stochastic terrorism when you basically engage in communications that are going to, get someone to commit an act of violence against someone else. And so it's very important for us to always call this out as well.
And to respond to that, Christopher, I agree. But I also think that we need to call on our allies to call it out. The people under attack cannot be the only ones fighting back in that moment. If you are the cousin or friend or parent or teacher of someone who is LGBTQ plus, or any minority that is under attack, you have to stand up for it. That's why there is zero tolerance in my life, for people who are Trump supporters, for people who somehow think they can be fiscally Republican and then, elect this person or support this person who has done untold damage to many, many communities, including mine, at the intersections of mine as a woman, as a queer woman.
So there's a lot more than just this young man being held responsible for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's you say we're getting numb to these things, but sadly to say, the community is so small. My husband has reached out and text today. We have friends in Colorado, still haven't heard back. It's such a small community, and there's so many small gay clubs. when one place gets hit, we all kind of feel it. We always know someone. So I think that's what's so scary for our community. Like, it is small. The world is big, but it is small, and we're always going to know someone. So we're still waiting to hear if our friends are okay. I mean, it sends shudders through the community every single time.
Mhm.
And I was,
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. I was on Facebook and I saw that a lot of people that I am Facebook friends with either know someone who was there, or they have worked in the club. I know a lot of people who work in the nightlife industry and who are DJs and promoters, and they know these people. These people are family to them, right? These performers are family to them. These drag queens are family to them. The people that attend these events are family to them. The world is very small when you're part of a marginalized group, right? And so, although we are not a monolith, and there's the club kids and there's the more reserved people in our community as well, I feel as though it's very important for us to keep those ideas top of mind when we discuss this kind of violence.
And Christopher, I would love to add on to that, queer bars, they have been our safe spaces forever. And when a space like this is attacked, we feel we're not safe anywhere. That's where, so many of us came out. We found the queer bar, whatever city, and that's where we went to find ourselves and become ourselves. So it is definitely a form of terrorism.
and does it mean we can have to up our security on gay clubs? I'm like, we're used to having our friendly drag queen on the door, and do we need to have them policed now? It's getting to that point. I feel that maybe we're going to have to up our protection to protect ourselves, because it seems that no one else is.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's one of those things that, Tracy, please go ahead. Go ahead. I've been talking a lot. I'll let you go for a moment.
I don't want to live in a police state.
No.
And maybe it's naive of me to say that I just want people to be better. But I don't want to have guns at the door everywhere I go, because they're part of the problem. So I don't have an answer except to gun control. Take these guns out of the hands of people who can't responsibly use them. There's no reason for this person to have all these guns. This person who walked into it's Club Q or Q?
Club Q.
Club Q. There's no reason for this person to have these guns. And, and I believe, Christopher, you could probably talk to this, but I think the suspect also has a dark history that should have been questioned, right?
Indeed, yeah. It came out, it was during the press conference that was held earlier today. One of the reporters asked whether it was true that someone by the same name had engaged in a bomb threat incident. And the district attorney and the spokesperson for the Colorado Springs Police declined to engage in answering that question. But the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, which is the local sheriff's office there near Colorado Springs, they confirmed that there was an incident last year where this individual or someone with that name had created a bomb threat situation requiring a SWAT team and all sorts of high power police response in order to get them to negotiate that down. So this person has been troubled. This is someone who we don't know much about, but as these things usually go, we'll find out more about their social media. We'll probably find out that this person probably had some sort of animus towards the LGBTQ community. I wouldn't be surprised if this person is a follower of Libs of TikTok or Gays Against Groomers. There's an Instagram post that I saw allegedly by this person who posted a picture of a burning pride flag as the only image on their account. It's not confirmed whether that's that person, but safe to assume that wouldn't be a surprise to get that kind of data from them. So that's really what's going on here. Excuse me.
No, well, that's heartbreaking. I mean, I suppose the only thing to say now really is our hearts go out to the victims and the family. and our thoughts are with them. Thank you so much, Tracy E. Gilchrist and Christopher Wiggins, for joining me today. I wish it wasn't such sad news, but thank you for joining us for AC 24/7. We will continue to follow the latest developments on the advocatechannel.com. For the Advocate Channel, I'm Stephen Walker.